Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, to both of you, thank you for your service to our country. And General Hawk, it's not just you, it's your family. And when you've deployed multiple times, your family is away from you. They put up with that. And so I want to say thank you to your family as well. Mr. Casey, you're probably not deployed in the same way as General Hawk has been, but and as several other members have indicated, putting up with a committee and working through the bureaucracy of Washington, D.C. for years and to do a number of successful items also says a lot about your capabilities as well. So thank you to both of you. I want to begin with General Hawk. I share the admiration that Senator King has expressed with regard to what General Nakasone has been able to accomplish. And part of this has been because he has taken on and has challenged the issues surrounding a dual hat. I happen to be a proponent of the dual hat approach. I think it works well. It's probably not perfect, but it's better than having separation and then having disagreements or silos in which you try to communicate back and forth. One of the areas that I felt had been very successful was the implementation of NSPM 13, which is, well, it's a classified document. It basically, in broad terms, would suggest a clarified way, a quick way in which to respond to foreign threats or opportunities for cyber intervention by us. And since that was intervened or approached, it has been an item making our cyber operations, I would consider, to be much more successful. The question I have is, moving forward, NSPM 13, while modified slightly over the last 10 years or so, is still in effect. Do you believe that you need additional capabilities, or do you see additional capabilities that are necessary to continue your mission in terms of the dual-hatted approach that we expect today?
Senator, in my experience, there is a really good alignment between the law and what has been produced by the Congress, by our national policy, and by the authorities that have been given to U.S. Cyber Command, the National Security Agency. So I think what that then allows is complementary action under those sets of authorities that produce the best outcome of the nation.
One of those areas, as a number of the members here have talked about, is 702. Could you just briefly, because there's a lot of folks back home saying, what are they talking about? What is a 702? Could you briefly, in terms of the magnitude of the importance to the defense of our country, could you share in this open session a little bit about how critical and how much we use 702 authorities?
Senator, I think first and foremost, ensuring that the American people understand that this is an authority to collect against foreign persons overseas.
Just like once every month or so?
It is an extensively used, and it is an irreplaceable authority for the intelligence community.
Give me an example, if you could, the magnitude of the value of that program. Can you share that?
I will give you an example of
Yes,
the products that are produced for the President's Daily Brief. 100% of those that have SIGINT input have 702 reflections in them.
It's not an item that we want to lose, so we want to make sure that we protect and that members of the House and the Senate feel a great degree of comfort that the protections of American citizens' private information continues and is improved upon in the reauthorization. Fair statement?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Mr. Casey, I'm just curious, you've had a chance sitting here to look at a number of different opportunities that we've had to improve or to look at the execution of counterintelligence operations. And while you would not be an operator of those, you clearly would be the overseer of a lot of them and the coordinator of a lot of them. Does the director of the NCSC have the necessary authorities to appropriately lead the CI enterprise? And that includes assistance to our private sector.
So thank you for the question, Senator. I think the committee's audits and projects team had a number of suggestions for improving that. If I'm fortunate enough to be confirmed, I'd like to, frankly, take some time to look at it. And
I want you to go on a little bit. It seems to me that you've expressed in the past a real desire to perhaps make some repairs here. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement, sir.
how strongly do you believe in that? Tell me, I mean, how serious is it that this has got to be done?
100. So I think we've all sat here before and talked about the threats that we're facing from the PRC, from Russia, to thefts of intellectual property. Like, where the United States is facing an across-the-board threat by a whole of society, to say nothing of terrorists, hackers, the usual gamut. And it is extremely urgent that we get a system in place that works on every possible level to protect against all those threats.
Including those against private enterprise.
Absolutely. And in fact, that's been a priority of the PRC. And it, as I think I said in my opening statement, that threatens our current economic success in the future. And as the chairman's pointed out more times than I can count, if the Chinese are able to, frankly, get ahead of technology, start setting the international standards, over time that locks us and Western Europe and the Japanese and South Koreans not only out of the game, but plays to our disadvantages and affects our personal freedoms.
Thank you. My time has expired. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.